Okay. So today's agenda is we're going to have a discussion about our role plays and simulations with the debrief there. Talk about the successes, challenges, and any tips that you might have to offer for next time. And what will be the next steps with this cohort? All right. So, what are some successes that you had during the role play with the academic discussion? So I pulled a couple things off of the Teacher to Teacher website. And again, I just did little snippets. If you have anything to add to that. People said that the students were interested in the topic and how they could possibly relate it to them. It would force the kids to have, step into a different perspective other than their own. And that's always good when you're dealing with students. So if you have anything you'd like to add, please do so. What were some ways that the students responded to the model?
Both Christina and Deb said it was very engaging for their kids.
Thank you. I actually did this with my classroom with Tinker versus Des Moines. And again, they really did enjoy that. So anyone have, I agree, for the civic Supreme Court cases, it's a great way to cover a lot of information. You can actually divide them up if you needed. Yes. Oh, wait. Anne Marie, if you unmute yourself, you have something that you need to say?
Sorry, I think I clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Welcome, Anne Marie.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what were some resources that you felt worked very well?
We saw someone said they used Gideon versus Wainwright. Was there any other court cases?
Morse versus Frederick. Again, we could, and someone earlier said that they were asking if we could share, what is it? Oh, Gideon versus Wainwright. That's one of my very favorites.
And the kids like him because they can be able to relate to him.
Oh, we got it. All right, good. Let's see if there's anything else to add.
Tinker and Hazelwood. Those are ones we go throughout the year, so that's I bet was pretty interesting to the kids.
All right.
I'm going to unmute Sam Morrow. If you don't mind, I want to hear about the John Brown hero versus villain.
Excellent.
I don't know if you actually, Sam, if you want to connect your audio, you can join in. There you go.
The John Brown discussion, we looked at perspective, and it was allowing the kids to look at it from two different angles, whether or not his crimes were done for just causes or whether or not they were done for reasons that you could argue were obviously unjust. So they had to take ownership, and we again put them on separate sides, and they had discussion. And when they're able to kind of look at the information in one way and they know what they're arguing, it allowed them to take more leeway, and they worked together and collaborated pretty well on it. It turned into a pretty heated discussion, but they were much more engaged than just simply reading an article.
I love the idea of John Brown. It's always an interesting topic for me to talk about, and I think that that'd be a perfect way to use this. I also saw, if Anne Marie, you want to unmute Anne Marie and discuss about the political parties?
No, it's just, I remember when we went to Oxfam, we were discussing different perspectives for a Supreme Court case. I figured that next year I can use it for political parties. That way I can see that they actually know the perspectives that they have on specific issues. So it's not only a way for them to work in class, but also to show me their knowledge. If they're able to defend their position from like a Republican or a Democrat perspective, it shows me their understanding. I think that would be a good idea.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Well, then, of course, we have to discuss some challenges. So really think about what were some challenges you had implementing this model? What did the students struggle with? I pulled something off of the website that says one of the biggest challenges was preparing everything for the students. Like if you're wanting to use primary sources, it does take a little bit of work in order to pull those different primary sources. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on how to make that easier or sites where they could find the primary sources. In civics, we use FLREA, and they'll usually have the court cases. Anyone want to add any challenges? What did you struggle with?
Deb talked about that the time was a big issue. When we did it, definitely it took over about 2 days or so to do it, as opposed to just one class period.
How do you think we could probably make it a little bit more condensed? I think that if you have a engaged class, I think you could probably divide them into different groups and have them doing different cases, and then maybe do some sort of stations with some sort of presentation at the end, possibly.
Well, Deb brought up a good point about sharing the resources across the district. So if we decided to do it with a court case, if we need to find the primary sources, it would be nice or good to share with others that are in the group or even others on teams across the district to help each other out.
Hey, Deb, will you unmute and go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Okay, so my thought is, as we have that OneDrive that we keep building with more resources, since the biggest challenge that was listed here was preparing everything, sometimes we all are preparing these all in our own little groups, our own PLCs in our schools, or we're a PLC of 1 or 2. And so as we create them, if we share them, then we only maybe have to create 1 or 2 a year, and then we could find 3 or 4 from other people that we could use.
That's excellent. And like I said, we been loading the website with, or the OneDrive with resources and trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Anyone else that we're seeing?
One of the biggest challenges with a lot of the ESOL kids were not engaged.
Okay, any suggestions for ESOL kids? We're just looking through your comments real quick. Okay.
Use ELA, that would be helpful. You lower the Lexile level. That's what Sam had.
I like that. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Kathy, if you'd like to unmute, you can go ahead and talk to us. And Val just shared that, oh, at the top, you should have a microphone that says audio.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. I learned something new this year. If we do compile all of these things in OneDrive, it would be lovely if there was maybe potentially just a little like teacher's note, what worked well, what didn't work well, just so that way we would have maybe a little bit more time to, if you had trouble in your class and with these kind of students, oh my gosh, I have 20 of those students, I really need to rethink this activity. It might not go well at all.
That's a great idea. I think that would really be helpful.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself so the dogs don't make noise and bother everybody.
Okay. If it's in OneDrive, we could, yeah, thank you, Samuel. Val?
Okay, sorry. Yep, let me.
It's okay. Rachel's asking if GoTo has the ability to download a chat.
Sorry. Hold on. To download a chat transcript. Let me see.
Again, the webinar is being recorded. You can go through it pretty quickly that way as well.
Mm-hmm. And I might be able to do like a simple copy and paste before we hang up. I'll try that and send it over.
Okay. And you also put up that a good place to get some of these primary sources was Supreme Court cases or landmarkcases.org.
Yeah, so one of the Newsela or Newsela, however you pronounce it, does do readings by Lexile level. Landmarkcases.org also does it, and they do it by period. So the hardest level is 3 periods, not meaning 3 periods in length. They just do it by a dot system. So 3 dots, and 1 dot would be the easiest. And it's a lot of the cases in 7th grade and some in the high school government and U.S. history.
All right. So let's see if we're ready to move on to the next question, if no one has anything else to add to that. I see Samuel is asking if we could put it in OneDrive and continually upload different information moving forward. Val, that's what we use in the county as far as the teachers' collaboration. So I will leave that as a question for Rachel that maybe she can answer later. We'll see if we can get that in the chat transcript. So thank you on that one. Okay. What are some changes that we would like to make for next time? I had a comment that I pulled up that says I will definitely give, well, I copy and pasted this. Okay, I will give much more background information and display my expectations clearer, although it is obviously easier to know what your expectations are once you have an idea of how the lesson's going to go. So that's something that you can build on. What tips do you have now that you've tried this method and reflected on this model? So anybody have any tips that they'd like to share? And did you modify the model to meet the needs of your different students? Like I said, one tip that I had was I gave different court cases. I actually did 2 court cases at a time. And so everybody had time to prepare. And then we did 1 trial at one point and 1 trial at another point. Okay, Amanda, if you don't mind unmuting and we'll hear what you have to say. Oh, okay. Then I understand that. So then let's see what Amanda said. She said,
It was a bit confusing for the kids at first, but implemented earlier in the year and continually use it throughout all units if possible. I know personally the same thing with me. The more they do it, as Sam said, the more they do it, the better it'll be. I completely agree with that. The more they're used to it and exposed to it, the smoother things will run.
all right. And Christine, go ahead and unmute and let's hear a little bit more about your topic. Oh, Christina. Is it Christina? Sorry, the wrong person. No, Christine. Yeah. What she said, or are you there?
No, I sent her a pin in case she can enable her audio.
Oh, okay. She said she would assign groups. She had them draw cards out of a bucket. Assigning groups would help them. Yeah. I can tell you when I did this with my class, I picked the groups pretty carefully because I knew that like some of my students who don't like to speak out would probably make better justices than attorneys, and that some of them just love that chance to make an argument a little more than some others. And so I thought that that was definitely a helpful hint there. And did anybody modify this to meet the needs of their particular students? All right. So if we are pretty much with that topic, we'll go on. Oh, Kathy, you want to talk to us?
Hey again, because I don't teach civics, I teach just U.S. history. I did, Rachel had put something in our curriculum map that said, was Lincoln a racist? It was a section on that. So I used all those primary sources, made the kids, it almost was more an avid strategy type of activity, but I made them do the primary sources, outline bullet points for each, and then suddenly told them you're on this side of the room, you're on that side of the or table, small group setting, you're on this, you're on that, and you say he is a racist, you say he's not a racist, argue it back and forth with each other, and then did a bigger group argument back and forth. So that was kind of different because they didn't really understand that Lincoln could have been perceived as a racist.
Right. And then we also had,
Well, Christina and Sam made a good point about basically you have to give the information to the kids beforehand. Then you have some background information. That kind of helps a lot more when you're going into the case, so they know what's going on as opposed to a brand new case and, starting from scratch.
let's see, I just want to make sure I don't have any more notes here. And Rachel said she'd love to take the credit, but the teachers who made the curriculum maps put that lesson in there, so glad it helped. Okay, bullet point beforehand, like go through and really sort of dissect the information. Okay.
Anthony has a good point about letting them do it first for the case that they're interested in or something they can argue on that impacts them directly, and then transition into, something more school related, something that fits your curriculum.
All right, Anthony, can you unmute? I guess, I don't think he's typing. All right, but that's a great idea. I love the fact that you could make it something that relates to their everyday life.
Yeah, definitely dress code. It's a good topic.
Actually, it's a topic right now, so that's current. That'd be awesome. Okay. There we got some pictures of you guys from our last meeting. Okay, so I will let Val go over this, if that's okay with you, Val, okay?
Yes, no problem. So we are really at our last couple steps of this program for the school year. We have a national wrap-up webinar on May 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me. And I'll send along the login information to Alyssa and Joe. This is really just an opportunity for you all to be on a webinar with your other cohorts. There's one in Duval County, and then the participating teachers in North Carolina and California. And just, it's kind of a final opportunity through the grant to collaborate, kind of listen to their experiences in these two learning cycles, and just share out. It's not required, but it is something that you might find interesting and beneficial to do. So as many of you that can attend, I would love that. Please complete your discussion board posts for both civil conversations and this learning cycle. Essentially, after June 1st, I'm going to go through all the attendance for the 2 face-to-face sessions we had, this debrief webinar that we're doing tonight, this afternoon, and checking off discussion board post participation. And if you have done all of those things, you're going to get the $200 stipend that we mentioned in the beginning. You will also receive some evaluation surveys from CRF. If you do that as well, then you will get an additional $25. So you'll get $225 check. If you did not attend a face-to-face, but you did a makeup webinar instead, or you watched a recorded webinar instead, if you can email me and tell me that, then I can make sure you get credit for that attendance. And I'm going to put my email in the chat box in case you don't have it. Because I want to make sure that you all can get paid as fast as possible. An important thing to know is that CRF in California is going to be sending your checks out. They're not coming from your district, and they're not coming from UCF, which kind of means that you'll get them a lot faster than you would through your district or the university. I know for us, it takes about 8 weeks to pay someone. So you'll probably get a check by the end of June. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. What I will do is probably email each of you just to let you know, like, I'm submitting paperwork so that you can get your $225 check, just so that there's no confusion. So just be in touch if you have any questions about that. And thank you all for your participation in this program. I hope you found it to be beneficial. I'm going to unmute everyone's microphone. So if there's anything you want to share or ask Alyssa or Joe or Rachel, you will have all your audio on available. So you guys everyone should be able to talk if you want. That's all I've got. I don't know if Alyssa and Joe, you've got anything you'd like to finish up with.
Well, I would like to say thank you to everybody. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate your patience and working with us as we figure this out. This was my very first time facilitating a webinar. Yeah, and Joe's too. It went much smoother than we thought. So again, thank you. And of course, thank you, Val, for all of this. And, hopefully we'll meet up again soon.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we've got a whole nother cohort for next year. And that's actually something to know for you all for this year. You won't lose your access to the club website if you want to pull anything down next school year. If you remember something, you will have access to the website next year. So great job, Alyssa and Joe. Thank you for facilitating this webinar and the whole program this spring.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. And happy summers. I like that comment. Bye-bye.
I'll just hang on until everybody logs off and copy and paste the chat box. Alyssa, are you still there?
Yep, I'm right here.
I was able to copy and paste the chat box, so I'll send that to you guys so you have it.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Val. I was trying to do it and I couldn't get it to copy.
Yeah, perfect. No problem. Alyssa and Joe, you guys did an awesome job.
Thank you for your help.
You.
We'll chat soon.
Now we can do webinars
Okay.
all the time.
Yay!
As Kathy put it, we learned something this year.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
And there didn't seem to be any technical issues, so that's awesome.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Val. I'm going to sign off.
All
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna end the meeting. Thanks, everyone.